Chapter 2. An interesting lunch. River notices a set of glass doors on the far side of the cafeteria that leads to a couple of picnic tables covered by a gazebo-type structure, providing shade. He is surprised by the tropical garden patio formed by the shape of the school building, creating a large, relaxing, quiet space. He is even more surprised to see no one using it. Taking the lunch he prepared at home this morning out of his backpack, he walks to the door and opens it. As he steps outside, the buzz of the lunch crowd drops by 10 decibels. He doesn't turn around, but he can feel hundreds of eyes on him. He takes a seat at the table with his back to the door, puts his backpack on the ground next to him, and places his unopened lunch container on the table. As he reaches into his backpack to retrieve a large cold can of Arizona ginseng and honey iced tea, he hears the door open. As he pops the top of his tea, Moon sits a cafeteria food tray down on the table and takes a seat opposite him. River's heart starts to beat rapidly. He thinks, "What's wrong with me? I was never this nervous in the ring before a fight." Take a deep breath and calm down. He closes his eyes and takes a few calming breaths. Moon nonchalantly says, "You're not supposed to be out here." River opens his eyes and looks at him. "Why not? It's not being used, and it's beautiful out here. The weather is perfect." He wanted to add, "And I get to look at you up close." Instead, he silences his inner voice. Moon takes a drink of his bottled water before he says, "It's supposed to be only for the teachers, but I have seldom seen them use it." "Then why are you out here?" River asked, moving the unappetizing food around in his plate. Moon says, "I have special permission to eat here." River gives him a questioning look. Moon looks back at the glass doors that lead into the cafeteria. He knows people are looking at them, but long ago he quit caring about what any of them think about him. "Most of those assholes don't like me. Honestly, there's only 2 people in there I consider my friends. The rest of them are ignorant, self-centered." He breaks off what he was about to say as the doors open again. Dr. Garcia and another teacher that River has not met yet walk into the garden patio carrying lunch trays. They sit facing each other at the other table. Dr. Garcia looks at River and says, "River, this is Ms. Garcia. She is the Spanish teacher, and she is also my wife." Ms. Garcia says hello, but Dr. Garcia can see confusion on his face. This is a very small school district, and not many teachers want to teach and live in such a small community. It's not uncommon for small towns to employ husband and wife teaching pairs. River says, "It's nice to meet you, Ms. Garcia." She smiles before she starts speaking to Dr. Garcia in Spanish about preferring to bring their own lunch instead of eating the horrible cafeteria food. River looks at Moon, who only rolls his eyes and begins eating his own crappy cafeteria food. River stares at Moon while he opens his large lunch container. Moon's eyes pop out of his head as he looks at River's lunch. Moon is almost salivating as he says, "What did you get, sushi? And is that miso soup?" River reaches into a side pocket of his backpack and pulls out a slim metal case and a pair of unused disposable chopsticks. He opens the metal container that houses his own ceramic chopsticks and 2 small soup spoons. As he hands the disposable chopstick pack to Moon, he says, "I made it this morning before I left. I made a lot, so why don't you help me eat it? I guarantee it will taste better than that." He moves his chin in the direction of the cafeteria tray of food in front of Moon. Moon sneaks a look at the other table. They are continuing their conversation in Spanish while only casually glancing at the 2 boys. He takes the offered chopsticks, unwraps them, snaps them apart, and then uses them to point at the sushi. "It's probably been 4 hours or more since you made it. How fresh can it be? There's a great specialty fish supplier out of Houston that my grandmother knows. This was my first delivery order I received Saturday. He said that if I like the fish he supplies and want more, I can get regular deliveries that can easily be dropped off in Grotto on their way from Houston to San Antonio." River touches the bottom of his food container. It's still nice and cold. He taps it with his chopsticks. This has a removable bottom that has a built-in gel pack that can be kept in a freezer and then used to keep the container's contents cold for up to 6 hours, provided it's not uncovered before then. So, I think it's still fresh. He hands Moon one of the soup spoons and then stirs the soup with his chopsticks. "This is a cold, spicy miso soup. Try it and tell me what you think." Moon dips his spoon into the soup and then slowly places a half full spoon of it in his mouth. His eyes become big and round, and he smiles with delight. That's delicious, and it's almost high spicy. Did you also make it yourself? River nods his head as he takes a spoon full of his own. He then uncovers a small plastic container of soy sauce and unscrews the top off of a small tube of wasabi. He pours a couple of tablespoons of soy sauce into a small, shallow dipping dish and mixes in a pea-sized dollop of wasabi. He looks up at Moon, who has his chopsticks poised, just waiting for the signal to start. River smiles and says, "Bon appetit." Halfway through the meal, River leans in and speaks in French. "May I see the book you were reading in class during second period?" Moon stops eating and looks at him, unsure of what to do or say. River breaches the silence by continuing the conversation in French. "I'll show you mine, if you will show me yours." He winks at Moon and reaches into his backpack. He places a book on Moon's side of the table. Moon looks down at the book and then quickly glances toward the other table while covering the cover of the book with one hand. Dr. and Ms. Garcia have stopped their conversation and are watching them closely. Dr. Garcia signals his wife, and they both stand and pick up their trays. He looks at them and smiles before speaking Spanish to his wife. "I don't see any problems here. I think that it's safe to leave them alone." They walk to the door that will take them back into the cafeteria. Dr. Garcia briefly glances back before following his wife in. Moon says, "You know they don't know we can speak Spanish." River responds with, "Keep your strengths and secrets private until they are needed or unexpected." They both chuckle. Then Moon looks back down at the book in front of him. It's in French. He reads the title and then looks up at River briefly before closely scanning the gardens while also trying to look a hole through the glass doors to the cafeteria. Continuing the conversation in French, just in case others are listening, he says, "This is a popular book in Thailand. I didn't know it had been translated into French already. It's only been out for 2 years. Why are you showing me this book?" Suspicion is strong in his voice. River looks down at the book and delicately runs a finger across the book cover that shows 2 young men romantically staring into each other's eyes with a distinctive Thai temple in the background. "Even though the cover was ripped off of your book from what I saw, I think we might have something in common. May I see your book?" Moon's senses are screaming at him to be cautious, but he still reaches into his own backpack and pulls out his book. "If you're setting me up, you need to understand that there will be nothing or anyone to prevent me from bashing your head in with one of these rocks." He points with his chin at several of the softball-sized rocks used to decorate parts of the garden. He slowly slides his book across the table to River. River is surprised by Moon's reaction, but he brushes it off to Moon being nervous about his abrupt approach. Regardless of the reason, he barely has enough time to confirm his suspicions that they were indeed reading the same type of material when the bell rings, signaling the end of the lunch break. Moon snatches back the book and places both books in his backpack, shoulders it, grabs his tray with one hand, and quickly exits the garden.